features of Arise India. We talked about gamifying education, right? So all these are different parts of Arise India. How are all of them put together? There has to be a flow. In fact, the vision with which this was born is that every year when the child starts its academic journey, it should feel like it is playing a huge game instead of learning independent chapters and independent concepts. So how do we bind all of this together? We are binding all of this together using Life of Chikki. Our policies, the policies of our country, suggest that the learning has to be very cultural. The guidelines are such that even the National Education Policy is clearly telling us they are borrowing the Indian knowledge traditions, Indian knowledge systems to design the curriculum for the children. And so Arise India also is using the cultural concepts to design this entire gamified education. We are doing this through Life of Chikki. I'm sure all of you have seen the video of what this is. Just to give a brief, what if the Pandavas were born today instead of thousands of years back? What if Yudhishthira was one of the child learning in 5th standard along with all the other students? And Chikki is equivalent to Draupadi. Draupadi was common in Mahabharata for all the Pandavas. She was the wife. And here Chikki is a friend of all the Pandavas. So every class has one character from Mahabharata who takes this journey of learning, and all of it is put together, combined together in a form of a game. So let me introduce to you what happens in 1st standard. 1st standard, we take the character of Sahadeva. We are calling him Sahu, and Sahu and Chikki are best friends. The journey that Sahu and Chikki take is to their grandmother's home. So these are Sahu and Chikki, and they have to cover all this path and reach their grandmother. Their journey is that they have to collect many points on their way through the games that they play, and using these points they can buy a present for their granny. More the points, better the gift. On their way, when they are going towards unit 1, they meet the characters of unit 1. For 1st standard, it is the character of the happy child and the 3 little pigs. So when they're traveling from their home, they meet the happy child, understand what is the concept of happiness from her, play the games to enforce those concepts, and then go ahead, meet the 3 little pigs, understand what happiness means to them, collect the points from there, and the total points the child writes here that it has collected. These are the minimum points that the child needs to cross this level. So this is unit 1 and the level 1. So the child ticks once it is finishing unit 1 and proceeds further on the journey to meet new characters, make new friends, learn from them, collect more points, and on its journey, travel all through these units, which are challenges for the child, and ultimately reach the grandmother and provide her or gift her a wonderful gift that makes her happy. So that is the concept of Sahu and Chikki. The most important character who is not shown here, always works in the background, is our dear Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna was the guiding force in Mahabharata. Sahu and Chikki and all the Pandavas, in fact, call on to Lord Krishna whenever they are stuck or whenever they want to ask a question to Lord Krishna, whenever they want to understand more. What is happiness? A Krishna's answer, a Krishna's perspective too. They will get. Every unit, Lord Krishna comes to their help and motivates them to go further, helps them understand the concepts, helps them understand the characters in the story. So you see that the entire textbook of English has been weaved into one large game board for the children to play. It's actually like, I'm going this year and I'm going to learn along with all these characters, and I'm going to play one big game to complete this year. And so what happens next year then? Next year, there is a continuity because we have Nakula coming. Nakula, the second youngest brother. In 2nd standard, children have their journey along with Nakula. Nakula, we know, is a character from Mahabharata who loves horses, who is very good with animals. So his journey is to start his own horse farm. And so he has to collect points, and when he plays the games, he gets the points so that he can invest in his horse farm. He and his friend Chikki have different adventures on their way and they collect points, finish the unit, meet characters there, learn from there, finish that adventure, and then proceed, and so on till the end. Here also Lord Krishna comes as a person who assigns job for them, a person who tells them this is your next adventure, this is the person you have to rescue, and so on, and they travel on their path. So the second, even though it is Life of Chikki, overall game is Life of Chikki. The first standard is called Sahu and Chikki's Gift to Granny. Second standard, we are calling it Nakula's Expression. What happens in third standard? Third standard is the story of Arjuna, the brother who is in middle. Now Arjuna is a character of Mahabharata who is prone to giving up sometimes, losing hope or going into depression. And he is like, oh no, this is not happening. What do I do? He goes into that kind of a mindset. And so in the third standard, children are introduced to this game of Arjuna Awakens. Every unit, Arjuna meets characters who help him learn, and each character gives him gems. In the first chapter, for example, he is collecting the gems of hope. He is collecting the gems of self-appreciation, and so on. Every unit, every chapter, he meets the characters from the NCERT textbooks, and he collects all these gems for his own awakening. And finally, he is a winner towards the end of the chapter. He is awakened. You would have noticed we have taken these characters and we have introduced how the characters themselves are in their real life and how they learn. So a child in first standard is learning like how Sahadeva learns. A child in second standard learns how Nakula is learning. A child in third standard is learning the way Arjuna is learning. And parents who have attended the PP sessions know very well that all these characters reside within us. These are all the personalities that are within every human being. In fourth standard, let me introduce you to our Bhima, who loves adventure, who loves to save people, who jumps in at every occasion he finds and offers his support and help. So in this chapter, our dear Chikki is lost, and Bhima's responsibility or Bhima's adventure is to find where Chikki is lost. So it's like a treasure hunt, or it's like a murder mystery, not murder mystery, but a thriller kind of a game board where Bhima in every unit has a clue, and using that clue, he will find the next clue, which will lead him to unit 2. This clue will lead him to unit 3, and so on. And ultimately, hopefully, it will lead him to Chikki. Let's see if it does. But the story of Bhima is meeting different people, learning from them, collecting clues, which will help him to locate where Chikki is hiding. So that is Bhima's story. Fifth standard children are almost 10 years of age and into their preteens, and Yudhishthira is a character who is of their age. Yudhishthira is a child, we call him Yudhi, is a child who loves making notes for himself. He keeps his journal. He writes every day what happens in his life, the questions that he has, what he feels when he meets other people. And all of this are noted down by Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira is into a lot of self-introspection. And here we are taking the diary, Yudhi's diary, where in every unit, he meets different characters. He asks questions. And then his friend Chikki helps him create an experience that will help him learn from these characters, and Yudhi finds his answers. Lord Krishna is his guiding force again. He comes in to help him understand better. Krishna helps him decode what the experience was all about, and slowly Yudhishthira discovers who he is towards the end. That is the journey of Yudhi as part of the Arise India 5th standard textbook. So first to 5th standard, children are playing one big game called Life of Chikki, and they're looking forward every year to proceed ahead and see what happens. How Yudhishthira comes into play, how Bhima comes into play, and how Arjuna comes into play. So that whenever they are reading Mahabharata, they are able to relate to all these characters. And the best part is when they grow up, they know which personality they have to choose in their life. So that is how the entire Arise India curriculum is designed for all the children. And Children are having a lot of fun in the Arise India classes that are presently being conducted for them, and there is a lot of involvement. The engagement is very high. They are so involved. When an assignment is given, we know that the children will be hooked on to it, and they are coming up with such interesting concepts, and such interesting creativity has been expressed by them. So we are very happy with the way the Arise India classes have been taken for the children, and the way the children are processing these concepts itself. So that was in brief what is Arise India. I hope it is clear for all of you. And if you have any questions now, you can go ahead and ask.